Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hey, another month and back here again. Apologies for the slight delay. The last two-ish weeks have been a little bit more busier for me than usual, and due to the nature, trying to keep up with everything, I just didn't have time to sit down to do this. But hey, here I am now. Um, and also in the spirit of doing things differently, which I guess I started doing in my last video, I decided to kind of make myself look a little bit more nicer than usual, or I guess more usual than the typical casual aesthetic that I usually go for. Nothing, fancy, but hey, why not mix things up a little bit? Um, but anyway, let me just get right into it, starting with the psychological stuff. So the last month has just been, was, well, just another month. I feel like my body positivity is still going up. I just feel so much more just comfortable and confident in my own skin. I feel much more or less anxious in the home setting, and even, far less anxious in just public places. I don't really think too much about the little things, not because, or, such as dysphoria and passing and whatnot, because not that those things really shouldn't matter that much, especially, passing in a public setting or really just in general. But also, I just feel so comfortable and confident in my own skin that I just don't really have to worry or think about those things anymore. And I don't know, I just feel just so much more stronger and just more upbeat. It just continues to keep going up. It's just like, not really sure how else to describe it. It just keeps on going up. I just feel so much better. I'm even now just being more expressive, and I noticed I even started taking more pictures because and doing posts on Instagram. Not that I want to get into being all about taking selfies and whatnot, but I'm just so happy all the darn time that I just can't help but capture myself in those little moments, and just looking back and thinking about how much I've grown, how much I've changed, and just how much more happier I am just being myself. It's a wondrous thing to just to feel, and it's a wondrous thing to just kind of look back and see, and just think about. It's an amazing feeling just seeing that, really just thinking about and seeing that growth, and having that reflect in just how I'm feeling and how I'm thinking and how I'm just living my life and expressing myself. It's a really wondrous and beautiful feeling to have, and it just continues to grow and it just continues to grow, relative, noticeably with each month or every few months. It's great. In a if that's a way of saying it, I guess. But moving on to the physical stuff. Starting with my hair. Can't really tell, but the wonderful area that I've mentioned in the past. I've noticed that the hairs are been getting slightly longer, a little bit more, that they're slightly longer and kind of sit over the rest of my hair that's neat and styled even after I straighten it. And it just really shows that there is a lot of overgrowth going on there, and that this area is definitely filling out more, that it looks more like a full and complete hairline, and not just kind of this weird space in between, just in between everything. It actually, everything is filling out so much more, and I'm really seeing the progress of that, as the hairs hopefully grow, continue to grow and get in length with everything else. It'll really, I mean, right now it looks, like it has the full look, but up close you'd be able to tell more. But it's not that big of a deal now. But seeing the progress there and just seeing how everything's filling out and just having that more fuller, completer look, it definitely makes me just more, content with my hair and how I'm styling it to reflect my, just my expression and how I want to present myself. And just even looking in the inspiration that I based this off, Jill Valentine from the Resident Evil 3 remake, and just seeing how much more, and just seeing how much my hair has grown, and how much it kind of relates, compares to that with the aesthetic that I'm going for, and how I want to present myself. And that's amazing. So yeah, it's great. I'm very much happy about that. The other thing I noticed was, my cheeks are definitely starting to look a little bit more, rounder and fuller in the face. I mean, my all around my face is definitely it continues to look more and more fuller and rounder and just more feminine in general as months pass. But this past month I've definitely noticed more roundness and fullness in my cheeks that are just a lot more rounder and not as bony as before. Especially since I have been taking a lot more photos of myself. Looking at those pictures, I'll probably put some up on the screen now. Looking at those pictures, and just seeing myself, and how I'm not only significantly happier that I'm pretty much smiling in all of them, but just noticing that how, just my face and all those different expressions, just how much more feminine and just how much more fuller it looks in general, especially in the cheeks. So uh, definitely happy about that. And lastly, in the chest, uh, it definitely looks and feels like it's definitely gotten a little bit more larger, not so much firmer or weightier. Just looks like chest just looks like it's slightly gotten larger. But aside from that, that's really the only changes that I've noticed. So a bit of a, some small developments here and there. But as I always tend to say, some progress is still far much better than, none. And I'm glad for every step that I make, small or big. Progress is better than none. Um, or some progress is better than none. So yeah, those are some developments here and there. But before I go, I do, I guess, have kind of an update related to my endocrinologist. So a little bit towards the end of last month, I called to schedule my next appointment, and business as usual, nothing wrong with that. The real kicker is the fact that my appointment isn't until about the end of June, and since my appointments are now broken up into every 3 months instead of every six, that applies to my prescriptions. And since I only get 3 months of prescriptions before I have to go back to my doctor, to see my endocrinologist to get that refilled. Well, as of this current the start of this current month that I'm presently in, I picked up my last refill, and that's what I'm currently on, and I now have to stretch that from that point all the way till my appointments and probably a few days afterwards until I can get it refilled. So I'm not really concerned about that, but I'm definitely interested to see how that's going to generally affect my mind and body, and how, I guess, in the long run it's going to affect the current development of my growth and changes, just everywhere, how that's going to just affect how my body is growing and changing over, over this, very peculiar period of time, if it's going to slow things down, or if it, I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm very interested to kind of see the results of that. And but at this current time, I guess, to give a little bit of insight into how I'm feeling right now, as I'm a bit of ways into this into this present month, not that bad. I just have to be conservative with what I have, having to ration out my estradiol and spironolactone for pretty much 3 months. And well, not 3 months in a sense, but the next few months in a sense, pretty much, is definitely different. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, and yeah. But anyway, that is pretty much all for now. Thank you all so very much for watching, and take care.